Hello, hello. This is Dallas Cohen, the Rebound Coach, and you are watching or listening to an episode of the Rebound Coach Live. Y'all, I don't know about you, but have you ever felt like you just do not want to get out of the covers in the morning? You have one of those days where it's just like, no, I don't think so. I think I'm just going to stay here and not face the world. This morning was wonderful for me. And then as the day progressed, uh, things just kind of crept up and it became one of those days where it's just like, I do not want to show up today. I want to hide away instead. And it kind of flows into today's topic. And so I'm not going to talk long, at least I don't think so, because it was literally one of those days. Just regular life stuff. And not just, and I'll say this too, when we want to stretch or become someone new or become something new or reach a new level or a new height or whatever, it comes with these new set of circumstances that require a new set of skills that you may or may not have acquired. And it's a stretch, y'all. It's a stretch. So I find myself in the stretch. And that might be TMI for a minute 37 in. You might be scrolling by this and be like, who are you and what are you talking about? Why should I be listening to you right now? What is this? My name is Dallas Cohen, known as the Rebound Coach. I have the privilege of sharing space with and walking folks through life changes and good ones. So I serve high achieving women of faith who live through betrayal, trauma, or abuse and are reclaiming territory in their relationship with themselves. It is also my path, and I have the privilege of walking people alongside with me. And if you're brand new here, I survived a marriage of 10 years to a man who wanted me dead and almost had the chance to try it. Praise God, he did not. Whew. But he almost did. And he and his mistress were plotting my murder by the end of things, which was extremely traumatic. And by the grace of God and many, many, many God ordained steps, I'm here today. My children and I are safe. We're able to live and deconstruct in some cases and reconstruct in others. And we're on our way. And so I wrote a book out of all of that situation. If you know and love someone who survived domestic violence of any kind, so in my case, emotional, spiritual abuse, financial abuse, mental illness in the home. If you know somebody who's survived any of that, you care about somebody or that's been your story, you will find answers. And just knowing you're not alone in this. I'm in my different space, so it's a little harder to see here. But the name of the book is called I Choose Life. I could allow the identity that my ex-husband had for me, and quite frankly, that I had agreed to for quite some time, to tell me what I was allowed to be, or I could choose life. And so this book has helped many people, women and men, who care about somebody in this situation or are survivors themselves. You can find this book at thereboundcoach.com/book. That is thereboundcoach.com/book. Here it is. So I did want to share that with you in case it's our first time sharing virtual space together. And in which case I want to say thank you for coming. You were at the Rebound Coach Live. And if this message helps you, if you connect with it, leave a comment and share it with someone you care about, someone whom it will help. Okay, so y'all, like I was saying, today started off like a normal day. I felt like it was going to be fine. And you know what? Situations just kind of crept up and crept up and crept up and crept up. And by the end of the day, I'm like, God, I am overwhelmed. I don't know how I'm going to handle life. And this is just regular stuff. And when I say regular stuff, kind of with an asterisk. So there's, my friend says, life be lifing. So there's traumatic events that happen to everybody, to be honest. We all have a different story, but everybody's got something going on. There's that, and there's life ups and downs. And I'm not always talking about, downs per se. Sometimes it's just regular stuff. Right? Your kids need this, and you got to figure out that, and this thing has a problem, and you got to fix that over there, and you got a regular stuff you need to keep up with, and these people are expecting that over there. And if you really want this new level goal thing that you set, you're going to have to do 1, 2, and 3 all at the same time, and you better not slip up or you're going to like all the things, like all the things. It was one of those days where just regular situations just kind of crept up, and by the end of it, I'm like, man, I just want to go to bed. But today is Wednesday, and today is a day that you and I get to spend time together. So here we are. I am so glad. I'm so glad because so often when we show up anyway, we find that there is something beautiful to come of it. And so I encourage you in that today too. But the name of today's The Rebound Coach Live episode is Your Life a Mistake? Okay. What are you talking about? Of course my life is not a mistake. Well, so I read a blog this week that really just gut checked me. And I'm in this particular season, and I don't know about you guys. You can tell me in the comments if you find yourself here at the beginning of 2023, just kind of in a stretch mode. Maybe there has been certain areas of life that you were coasting. This was easy and it was wonderful. And then all of a sudden, like, man, what happened? Like, it's like if you're swimming, just keep swimming. This is fun. This is easy. I'm having a good time. And suddenly there's a current and you're like, man, when did this get hard? How did this get hard? I'm sitting here in the same water. Why is this difficult now? I kind of found myself there, and just being challenged to stretch in different areas. And, I enjoy a challenge. I really do. When there's 5 of them, it's like, oh, Lord. Okay. So I read this blog, and I'm happy to point anyone to it. If you want to see the original, just say so in the comments, and I will make sure I direct you properly. But the title of the blog was, "Are you living by a compass or a clock?" And I was like, that's interesting. But something that really stood out to me out of it, and it was about busyness and the busyness that consumes our culture here in America. And there's a part of it that I really just like, wow. Chronic busyness, this is what the quote is. Chronic busyness is nothing more than a false sense of your own importance, not a mark of true spirituality. Now, the author of the blog is talking about spiritual busyness, or I would say religious busyness, right? Which is its own monster. But whether it's religious busyness or not, chronic busyness is nothing more than a false sense of your own importance. It's like, well, daggone. Because, I stay busy. And I was reading journals of mine from years past. And I don't journal as much as I would like to. I typically journal when the emotions are really high for me and I just need to pour. So for a long time, all of my entries were just like really stressful. I'm like, man, like you're having a hard life. But I would only journal when it was that way. So I was reading something from far back, and it was like, I got all this to do. I got this, and that, right? And someone with a story like mine could look back and say, oh, well, that was your past. That was the marriage you were in. That's what was causing the stress. That's what was doing it. But no, I've read entries since, within the past 3 years. And yeah, they kind of sound the same. I got this going on and that other thing and this other thing too. And it's interesting. It's interesting. And so the blog here is talking about, are we living life by a clock or a compass? Now, a clock just tells you what time it is, and we cram a lot of activities. We, including myself, cram a lot of activities, expectations into our day, into our time, into our hours, and we call ourselves multitasking, and we know that's not even a thing that people do. And we're just real busy, and maybe not moving in the direction that we want to go. And so the compass, she was contrasting, the compass tells us the direction, but not the time, right? So we can move fast or slow, but we're going in a particular direction. And that she was encouraging the people who are reading her blog to live life knowing the direction you're going, not necessarily how fast it is you're getting there or how much you're cramming into the moment. And that was really good. And as I meditated on that, there were several other messages I got throughout the week around the same kind of idea of being intentional. And so the thought of, is your life a mistake? Are we living on purpose? Or are we just kind of living on autopilot? And a lot of folks, so if you are reclaiming territory in your relationship with yourself, which means you're semi self-aware, right? So you're a kind of person that wants to get better. You're the kind of person that seeks out wisdom. You're the kind of person that has mentors and accountability, and you are intentional about your personal growth, and that is to be commended. And those are the kind of people who grow and do better, the people who are intentional about it. And this is not a, hey, you're a slacker kind of conversation. This is a new level kind of conversation. And what new levels of intentionality can we embrace that takes us to the next level? That's what the question is. What can we do to be intentional? And often, I won't say always, but I will say often, the answers are things that we already know that we just aren't applying. We just aren't doing. Sometimes people pay for gym memberships they don't use and feel like they've checked health off the list, right? And it's not in the purchase, it is in the doing. So the same is so for personal development. Sometimes we pay for coaches and we listen to them, or we pay for special events and we go to them and we listen to what whoever is, teaching. We listen to it and we go, oh, that's a good point. And we might even write it down. Oh, that's another good point. And then what? We go home, we put our notes on the shelf, and we go about repeating our habits. Here's what we know. We know success is a marathon, not a sprint. We know that it happens in the everyday, and we know it's outside of our comfort zone. Okay, we know these things. So I just encourage you today, and I encourage me today to be intentional, to take one more step towards your vision, your goal, your plan, your dream. Don't feel like you need to take 10 steps, just take one. And rest is also one, but here's what I'll encourage you to, is to just continue to show up. Just continue to show up. Faithfulness or commitment is a superpower. It absolutely is a superpower. And continuing to show up for the things that you're committed to and to the vision you're committed to. There are people, there are individuals and purposes and situations that depend on you doing your part, whatever that is. It depends on you doing your part. And you don't have to have it figured out, but you do need to show up. And so, that being said, speaking of intentionality, there is a really, really cool event coming up in 1 month from today. It is called A Day of Healing Self-Touch. Now, I talk a lot about, stuff I've been through. I don't say everything because I don't say everything. But what I can say is touch is very important. Touch is very important. And many, many, many women, men also, have experienced unsafe touch. And child sexual abuse is the big category, but there's many forms of unsafe touch that people experience as children and as adults. And it's something that we would need to heal from, just as every wound, physical wounds would need to be healed. Emotional wounds need to be healed. Wounds from unsafe touch need to be healed. And even as we've learned to kind of function and go on through our lives, we've learned to function because we are, we're doing day to day, we're getting stuff done. We're checking things off boxes, even though we're doing all that, there's still nourishment that we're missing. There's still parts of us that have gone unseen and uncared for. And February 11th, which is a Saturday, is an opportunity to just take a break from your everyday stuff and be poured into. And so it's actually an event that's happening in 5 different cities, in different states across the country, all on the same day, which is pretty cool. And there's an online activation. You can find more about the Tampa Bay event at thereboundcoach.com/events. That is the reboundcoach.com/events. Okay. And that is called A Day of Healing Safe Touch. And you can find that at thereboundcoach.com/events. And y'all, that's all for today. I am very glad that we got to spend this time together. I do welcome and encourage you to leave a comment. If you're watching the replay, just put replay, leave a comment. Let me know what you're going to do to be just one more step of intentionality in your life, and make sure you're living life on purpose and not by mistake. Okay. Thank you so much. If you are in the Clubhouse room, we're going to open the floor in just a minute for any comments or anything you'd like to add on to the conversation. We welcome that. And for everyone else, thanks again. And until next time, choose life.